Trapmore gang, the rumor's been going around that Pooh Shiesty, what was currently the most poppin' rapper in the game, okay, had been sent back to jail, all right? Now, there's rumors that this is cap. There's rumors that maybe this is true and they're trying to sweep it under the rug, and we're going to get to the bottom of it in this video, okay? We're going to find out, did Pooh Shiesty get sent back to jail? Did he pass go? Did he collect $200? I'm going to break it all down for you. But first, okay, let's just have a little recap. Since Pooh Shiesty got out of jail, his track FDO, First Day Out, all right, it debuted at #1 on the hot R&B and hip hop songs charts, okay? And look, this is one of them little baby Billboard charts, all right? You can chart at #1 on the hip hop chart, ain't that hard, all right? But to chart on the Billboard Hot 100, the big boy chart, is an incredible achievement. The song did actually land at number 22 on the Hot 100. And I did actually mention in a previous video, until they've just updated the charts now, and shout out to Lil Uzi Vert, he's at number 14 on the charts with What You Sayin', banger, all right? Love Lil Uzi Vert, he's one of my favorite rappers right now. But Pooh Shiesty's First Day Out, all right? Last week it was at 12. 12? How is that even possible? This is crazy, all right? It's now at 17, okay? For a minute, Pooh Shiesty was the #1 rapper on Billboard, okay? Which, no disrespect to Pooh Shiesty, I'm a huge fan of his music, but I feel like that said just as much about how good Pooh Shiesty is as it did about the absolute dire state of hip-hop at the moment, just because the music's not charting the way it used to. Country music has been stepping on hip-hop music for a minute. Okay, you got Morgan Wallen absolutely tearing a new one through the charts every single week. You know, you got Taylor Swift, ain't nothing knocking her off the top spot. You got Alex Warren going crazy. So Pooh Shiesty was really, and now Lil Uzi Vert, really kind of like the biggest flag bearers for the music. I mean, Gunna, shout out to Gunna. I don't see no Young Thug on the Hot 100. Big X the plug. He trying to really go country with it anyway. But like, as you can see, hip hop is down bad right now. The fact that SD Kid's 4 Raws is a top 40 hit from the UK. Shout out to all my UK brethren. All right, there's a universe where this ends up becoming the highest charting UK rap song ever in the Billboard chart, and you know I would love to see it. You know I'd love to see that. But anyway, okay. Rumors started flying recently that Shiesty was back behind bars, and this really all kind of got sourced from a stream with Bender Don. So look at this. All right. Basically, Bender Don let it be known, all right, or this stream kind of left people believing that Pooh's house had been raided and that he had gone back to jail.
Another bet?
You streaming or not?
Yeah, I'm streaming, nigga.
Oh, nah, I can't have. Okay, you remember that bet when Buddy had this right here, and I told you I was like, he going to jail?
Yeah.
He's going back. When you get off stream, call me. Hey,
Don't say that, bro.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
Hey. Took everything, cleaned them up.
Are you fucking serious?
The nigga retarded, bro. It has to hit the streets yet.
I hope you lying, nigga.
Bro, last time I was lying to you?
No, you did lie last time.
Okay then. Remember, I always get the shit first. Hey, he got my cap. Bro, the niggas, bro.
Yeah, I gotta talk to you at the stream, bro. You about to, I'll call you in a little bit, bro.
Yeah.
No fucking, bro, this shit never fucking ends, bro. That shit damn near made me on the end stream, gang.
So he had a little call, people talking about, yo, that guy that was in jail, he going back. And then news begun quickly reporting on this, okay, all over social media. Pooh Shiesty reportedly back in custody with a release date of April the 11th, 2026. Okay, people saying First Day Out Part 2 coming soon, all right? He tore up the charts with First Day Out. So, you know, maybe it's time for that Part 2. But shortly after this, Pooh Shiesty's team, not Pooh Shiesty himself, his team, all right, very important. They reached out to academics to clarify the situation. They said he's not locked up. All right, they said, update, Pooh Shiesty's record label reached out to me and confirmed that he's not in jail. Apparently his April release date existed since his release, but he's on home confinement till April, like he has been the whole time since his release. Now, after this, okay, that streamer that we saw a minute ago, Bender Don, also explained that the release was actually just Shiesty getting off his halfway house restrictions and he hadn't been arrested. But some people felt like maybe this was cap and he had been arrested. We need to see some proof of life from Pooh Shiesty.
They posted a picture showing the halfway house, like, some shit that's been going on. Like, he get off halfway house arrest in 4 months. That's it. That's all that shit was. But since he took my clip out of context and just added whatever they knew they can get some clicks off of, that's when the clips started just going and they made stories off of that.
So what's interesting, right, is basically, as you can see here from these tweets, even Academics was like desperately trying to get to the bottom of this situation for a minute. Originally he said, slight update, the facility they claim he's located at is a halfway house for inmates that are about to be released. His release date seems to be 3 months from yesterday. Most halfway houses will hold an inmate for 3 to 12 months after the ending of their bid. What's unclear is if he was listed in custody when we saw him obviously being free, shooting music videos, etc. More details coming. It could be a hold stemming from possible probation violations, but it wouldn't be housed at a halfway house. Normally it would be a federal detention center until the judge saw him. And then he basically went on to say rumors of his incarceration started via a stream where fans assumed a conversation between one of his closest friends, stream spender Don, was about him being incarcerated. So now they're saying that's not true, but we're gonna need to see proof. We're gonna need to see proof of life from Pooh Shiesty. But what's interesting, okay, one of the reasons people actually do think that maybe this was going around, maybe this was damage control, or maybe this was just a very unfortunate piece of timing. But basically, it was going around just days before this where Pooh Shiesty was addressing some pretty serious allegations of snitching. So this was a post that was going around. Pooh Shiesty shared official paperwork showing that he and his co-defendants remained solid and stood by each other, no snitching, while facing the possibility of more than 60 years in prison. So he showed his indictment from the whole point, the whole thing that he was on. He was in the feds and he was in house arrest for, okay? And he said traumatized, they don't know the half. Now, what's interesting, okay, let's take ourselves back, all right? Pooh Shiesty basically pled guilty to a string of shootings and he was facing up to 8 years, really at the peak of his career at the start of 2022.
Rapper Pooh Shiesty is facing prison time after pleading guilty to a gun charge in Miami federal court. The case against Lontrell Williams Jr. stems from 3 shootings during the past 2 years, 2 of them happening right here in South Florida. In October of 2020, prosecutors say that Williams and another man shot 2 men after arranging to buy marijuana and high-end sneakers from them. Then in May of last year, Williams was accused of shooting a security guard in the leg at a Miami strip club. Now, prosecutors say he could get up to 20 years in prison, but attorneys from both sides are reportedly seeking a shorter sentence to roughly 8 years in prison instead.
So it was a serious situation, right? He'd shot a security guard at the club, okay? One of those incidents was caught on surveillance footage. I don't want to show it to you here because it will get me in trouble, but I will show you the lead up.
Like this clip, right? What happened?
This was a pretty crazy moment. All right, I've talked about this in other videos recently. They were apparently buying some sneakers and some weed, and doing a drill like this in a McLaren and a Maybach is absolute insanity.
No,
but basically,
video. The surveillance
they pulled up in the McLaren, all right? They pulled up in the Maybach, and they said, "Look, we might look rich, but we broke as hell. We need to stain you for them sneakers. We slimy for real."
There's a McLaren sports car, Mercedes Maybach, and another Mercedes pull into this East Bay Harbor Drive condo parking lot. Guys eventually get out.
So I'm not going to show you. I'll give you the play-by-play, but I've been in trouble for showing this on YouTube before. I'm not going to hold you right.
About
but basically, shots get to flying. All right, guns get drawn. Multiple people have straps out. It is pretty ridiculous, all right? They basically said, "Give me them sneakers, give me that weed, and you can get it back in blood." All right, if you want it back, you know the song. You can get it back in blood. So that's how it all went down. Obviously, he was in a whole bunch of trouble as a result of that. But interestingly, okay, he ended up getting locked up, and he ended up doing just over 3 years or so. 4 years. But that's when the exposer in chief reared his ugly head, man. No, not saying he's ugly, but I'm saying it's ugly when this guy pops up and comes for your neck. I'm talking about Mr. Wack 100, okay? While he was locked up, Wack 100 started a massive debate, basically claiming that Pooh Shiesty had snitched in a proffer agreement, and he's been stepping on his neck ever since, man. He's been getting mad disrespectful, and some people feel like that's why Pooh Shiesty showed the paperwork on Facebook the other day. And it's possible. Is it possible that just to get everybody off of his case for these snitching allegations, would he have pretended like he was getting sent back to jail to clear the block? I don't know, but let's hear what Wack was saying back then.
The Matrix.
See, they saying what you said, bro. Everything on that paper is what you didn't confirm.
Hey, so what you think on Crip Mac?
I mean, I don't know. They just say he got a gun case. I think somebody told on him to ask me.
Damn, he got a gun.
Is somebody's name in Pooh Shiesty paperwork?
Nah,
Yeah, his
it's a
name's in
few
Pooh
names.
Shiesty
Hell
paperwork.
yes.
Pooh
Yeah,
Shiesty
names in there.
talked about two niggas in his paperwork because he got two co-defendants. In his proffer, he mentioned both of them.
Oh man, why y'all making Memphis look bad like that?
We ain't the ones
Oh,
that
come on. Ain't
sat
got
down
nothing to
for
do
the
with
proffer,
Memphis,
my
bro.
nigga.
It ain't our fault.
Wait. Hold on. Wait, slow down, bro. See, nigga, bro, that ain't got nothing to do with Memphis, bro.
So it's pretty crazy, all right? Now, in response to this, okay, Pooh Shiesty's lawyer actually issued a statement denying all of Wack's claims, all right? Basically, look, this was on a whole bunch of channels. Wack says Pooh Shiesty's a snitch. Wack claims, blah, blah. This is pretty, this was a campaign, all right? And if Wack 100 gets on a campaign with your name involved, it's a bad day at the office. But Pooh Shiesty's lawyer basically reached out via Instagram. He said, this is 100% fake news at Wack 100. There is no paperwork that would say at Pooh Shiesty said a word about anything on anything. In fact, none of the three charge gave proffers on anything about anything having to do with other people. This is just a straight mistruth. They all took pleas to the same crime, one count of a possession of a weapon during a drug crime. None of them gave a proffer about anything. It was a straight plea with all of them having the other three life felony counts dismissed. But why bother with facts? Just throw something out there for clicks. Okay. Now, Pooh Shiesty took to Instagram to respond directly, even from behind bars, to clear his name, because this is real fight and murder talk when you're talking about somebody a snitch. All right. You actually basically lining them up to be taken out by their own people, really, calling them a snitch. In that lifestyle, you can call me a snitch all you want, even though I'm not one. But I don't really care. I'm not going to get slimed out by the gang brethren for being called a snitch. But that could happen in this world, so everybody's got to clear their name when it comes to this, okay? And Pooh Shiesty released a statement, said, Omerta, right? It will never show in no paperwork that I sat down with the government and gave a statement on no one on the case with me, nor anyone else for something in return. In that case, I will not be here. A factual proffer is not of a government proffer where the weak will sit down and tell their soul. No... I hope he hit the books in jail. That's all I'll say. Know the difference before you use my name in vain. Before I bit some cheese, I sit down and keep quiet. Anyone that enter a negotiation plea agreement, it will be a factual proffer of the factual basis that the government will use in court to prove of the guilt they're trying to show. I want all you lame-ass dudes keep the same energy. I stand on business. And we know he stands on business, all right? He be shooting everybody, all right? You never know, right? You might link up with Pooh Shiesty with some sneakers and you catch a stray in the ass. That's how it goes down, for real. All right. Now, these allegations cooled off for the remainder of Shiesty's stint in prison, but as soon as the rapper got out early, Wack reignited the rumors, as he does, man. And Wack is just not who you want on your top. All right. This is a problem.
Hey, speaking of which, we got to get the official certification. I announced it on the gram. We have Pooh Shiesty, who's back home, and he's the only rapper of recent time who came home, never snitched. Is that true or not? The exposers, I heard they did a whole thing on it. We need to know, what's the deal?
Well, here goes the thing. You know, I had his attorney 11 months ago on my channel.
Really?
Yeah, I sent you the link. You got the link. The disposals was we had his attorney, but he made some points. We made some points, but the point that he had to clear up, he was supposed to send the paperwork, and he gave me his word he was going to send it, and he never sent it. Now, I will tell you this. I looked at my phone today, and the exposer's been working overtime, and they got all kind of new paperwork.
Wait, what?
And I ain't ready. But the way they talking crazy on this text blast, hold on, I'm going to send it to you so you see it. I ain't ready. They been working.
Wait.
So Wack's saying, hey, listen, we got some paper. I ain't ready yet. But... okay, it's serious. It's bad. Look, now Wack would later appear on No Jumper, all right? He would explain the allegations. He would elaborate more on the smut that's being put on Pooh Shiesty's name.
It's kind of like if I'm coming to you, right, to buy some drugs or whatever I'm coming to do, right?
Okay.
And then I'll rob you or I'll shoot you or whatever, right? And then they take me into custody. And I tell them that I went to Adam because he was going to sell me some lean. But then you end up getting indicted after that. So I kind of think whatever paperwork they got in the proffer, all three of the guys kind of said that they went to the victims to buy certain things, to buy drugs and get this and get that. And they found it in the proffer.
We're talking about the shooting in the green Lambo when they went to go buy weed and then they ended up robbing the guys?
Yeah, I guess so.
So you think, or you're fighting against, but your team thinks that Pooh Shiesty and them told on each other?
Well, they think they told on the victims.
Oh.
So what he's saying, and this is actually very interesting, he's basically saying the proffer agreement had him admitting, and I'm not gonna lie, it's like Wax a demon, okay? Because what he's done is he's put it out there that Pooh Shiesty snitched and they snitched on each other. It doesn't sound like he's got any traction or any proof of that. But then he's basically found out that the pleading guilty to robbing a guy that you met up to buy weed from in a state where weed is not legal, is that telling on the victim? If I shoot you and I come to buy a brick of cocaine, all right, and I take the plea and I say I was there to buy a brick of yay from this guy and I shot him, I plead guilty, is that snitching on the guy who was the victim? Well, it doesn't sound like the guy went away. It doesn't sound like they brought a case against the guy that was selling the weed, but hey, we don't know, all right? I'm not saying Pooh Shiesty is a snitch. I don't believe it. I don't think that would make you a snitch, but that's Wax logic. I'm giving you Wax logic. Wax logic is that because he took a guilty plea on a guy that he shot trying to buy weed and finessing off the weed, which is, you can't be selling them weed and you can't sell 20K's worth of weed in a parking lot to some guy in a McLaren in Florida. I don't think that's how it works. All right. So they're saying, Wack is basically saying that if that's the proffer or if that's the plea that he took to say that this guy was selling me weed, he feels like that's snitching. Now, interestingly enough, okay, Pooh's lawyer would respond once again to explain the plea deal in more detail, which would only elicit more fiery responses.
Pooh Shiesty, Lontrell Williams gave up no one, absolutely no one. We never cooperated with the government whatsoever. The paperwork that he's reading is that our defense was that we blamed the alleged victims, that the victims were trying to hold up and rob Pooh and his crew, and that's why the guns came out. The victim said, I don't have a gun, I never owned a gun, and through our investigation and the evidence, we found not only did he own a gun, he had a firearm box in the trunk with ammunition in the trunk. Both of these alleged victims were total liars, totally full of shit, and that's why instead of getting 10 years, the judge gave him under 5 years for a shooting case. Not because of any kind of, he cooperated. He didn't cooperate with shit.
They never cooperated with the government. The victims say we ain't had no guns, but Pooh and you proved they did have guns. And because of the information you gave on them to prove they had guns is the reason Pooh didn't get 10 years and got under 5. And you say you didn't cooperate, and you calling me a moron. We gonna run that back one more time.
So look, I kind of get what he's saying, but look at the comments. And again, I'm not the arbiter of street justice and street snitching. Okay, some people think that I am, but I'm really not. But people saying that's not telling. All right, the lawyers are planning a defense for the defendants. What do you think lawyers are supposed to do? I don't give a fuck. If I'm paying a defense attorney to defend, find flaws, and prove I'm right in what I did, I don't give a f who gets proved wrong. They're basically saying that the guys who got shot who were selling the weed said, "Oh, we didn't have no guns," and Pooh Shiesty and his lawyer basically saying we found out that they had guns in the trunk. There was firearms around, and it was self-defense, so that's why he ended up getting a 10-year, 4, 5 instead of 10. Wack still believes that's snitching. Other people in the comments, they believe that's just planning a good defense. And again, I'm not trying to put Pooh Shiesty down because I don't think Pooh Shiesty snitched. But that's why rather than it being black and white, you start hearing these new phrases like, no, that's planning a defense. That's spinning the cops. I'm not saying Pooh Shiesty snitched. So this is nothing like the Young Thug situation. But it's like there's a spectrum of the things you have to do to beat a case, all right, and to get a good deal. And I'm not saying this is telling, but it's definitely complicated, and that's why Wack has found an attack vector, all right, to put Pooh Shiesty down. And Wack is very good at inserting himself into situations. Let's put it that way, all right? Now, this whole beef died down again for a few months until just a few days ago, all right? Pooh Shiesty posted his legal paperwork on Instagram to prove that he didn't cooperate, okay? This is it.
Man, this the indictment after our original indictment, so we got indicted twice, nigga, so they smacked us with more charges, nigga, thinking that shit would break us or make us, nigga, conspiracy to possess firearms in front of the drug trafficking, violent crimes, nigga, 3 other solid niggas you will ever see, nigga, name on a piece of paperwork, nigga, bankroll, D-roll, nigga, these niggas solid, nigga, nigga. We kept it G. We traumatized about this shit, my nigga. For real, nigga, I really went through it. Nigga, you nigga better watch our mouth when y'all say a nigga name, cuz I was facing 20 plus or 20 plus another 20 plus life, nigga. Never told it, never folded, nigga. All my shit add up, nigga. Yeah, nigga, every page add up. You see 1 through 10 on anything. Stop playing with a nigga name, nigga made, nigga, for real. You niggas don't know the half of this shit or what's really going on, nigga. Yeah, my paperwork 4,000 pages long. I go all day with this shit. You niggas don't know what really going on. You know what you see on the internet, you content creating ass niggas. Supersede indictment.
He said he got 4,000 pages, all right? He's dissing the content creators. What did I do? All right? People said, nah, dog, we seen what you said already. The streets traumatized, buddy. That's Blueface. Blueface putting him down. And he says, I am the streets. Traumatized, F the streets. So people are dragging it up. People saying Pooh Shiesty goes off after people noticed that 2 weeks ago he said F the streets. Now he says he is the streets. They're saying, make your mind up, gangster. Where's 6ix9ine when you need him? Ain't nothing real about this. I love my freedom, fam. Right? You're supposed to do that. Ain't no reward for that. Pooh Shiesty gonna learn the internet just full of miserable folks who want to gaslight you. Maybe he learned by spending time in the feds that he made reckless, hateful, hurtful decisions. By being in the streets, now he's traumatized. But when it comes to the music, he is the streets, if that makes sense. Okay. Now, some skeptics in the comments, okay, would notice that Pooh hadn't actually shown his sentencing paperwork, just his indictment. And people called him out for that. So they're saying Pooh Shiesty shows his indictment paperwork, says he and his co-defendant kept it solid after facing 60 years.
Supersede indictment, man. This the indictment out there.
So we already seen this, right? But like, if you look at some of these comments, okay, basically, people saying, gonna take notes. People saying, where are the court sentencing minutes? He should show his sentencing paperwork. That's where it says if someone kept it solid, right? People saying this is very profound, proving to people who, if they was in that situation, they wouldn't hesitate to snitch. So what's the purpose of this? You're out of jail now. That's all that's supposed to matter. People saying, stop explaining yourself for the internet. People living for the internet. This is the wrong things, my G. Doing this before the streets or goofy blogs make up some false stuff. There's a reason people say stuff, all right? And this matters to who? This is not a flex, all right? Bruh, nobody asked you. Who cares? I'm going to keep it real. I don't think Pooh Shiesty told. I don't think there's anything to this, but clearly this has got in his head because this has upset him. He's out here posting his 4,000 pages of paperwork because clearly this has got in his head. This bothers him. Pooh Shiesty, if you know you ain't do nothing wrong, man, don't worry about it. You ain't got to prove nothing to nobody on the internet. But of course, after Pooh Shiesty's post, Whack 100 would twist the knife. All right, it's a knife and Whack's twisting it. He went on Academics' stream and made similar allegations.
We're talking about this. I don't give a fuck about nothing but your proffer. I bet he didn't show his proffer.
All right, hold on. I'm watching this again. He shows.
I guarantee you he didn't show his
superseding
proffer.
indictment. This is a superseding indictment. And
I don't care about that.
Then he shows. He said it's 4,000 pages. Maybe he ain't get to that yet. He gonna show it, I guess.
I have the proffer. See, he's gonna show the 4,000 pages, right? Because ain't nobody gonna look in the 4,000 pages.
So he said, ain't nobody going to look in the 4,000 pages, right? We need to see the proffer. Showing the indictment, the superseding indictment don't prove nothing. That's what he says, all right? And Whack would make it clear that the paperwork that Pooh Shiesty released hadn't changed his mind at all. He still feels like Pooh Shiesty told, all right? I'm not agreeing with it. I'm not pushing that, but I'm just saying what's going on, what the conversation is out there in these streets.
When he went at me, the lawyer said, we were able to prove the other people had a gun. That's why we got him down from 10 years to 4 years. The dumbass lawyer told on him. The lawyer told on him. Stupid motherfucker, in your world, that's okay. In Pooh Shiesty world, it ain't okay. And I got the proffer.
Yeah, but
don't get mad at me.
Is self-defense allowed in the streets?
Hey, bro, put it like this. This how this works. Me and Pooh Shiesty get into it, right? Watch this. We get into a bang out. He popped me. I pop back at him. He hit, I'm hit. He get away. I can't move. Ambulance come, police come. They catch me with the gun. Whack, we gonna give you 15 years. You was involved in the shoot. Or you can let us know what went on and we can get the 15 down to 5. I don't know what the fuck you talking about. I'm not finna say, well, me and Pooh Shiesty was in the shootout. Pooh Shiesty had a gun too. I ain't doing none of that, homie. That ain't how that go.
So look, I get Whack's point. The only thing I'm going to say to defend Pooh Shiesty here is that it wasn't a case of you got in a shootout in a dark alleyway and nobody was there and then you told the cops, hey, that's who I was shooting out with. This shit was on camera, all right? It's kind of the other way around. It's kind of the other way around. You guys get in a shootout and then Pooh Shiesty leaves the scene And then you turn up at the hospital and the whole shit's on camera and they got the license plate and they got the car and they got the rentals and they got everybody already wrapped up. I would personally say it seems like the cops kind of had an idea of the narrative that was going on. They knew what was going on. They knew that there was a shootout. Now, pointing out that those guys had guns, if they were found by the cops with guns, that's there for you to use, all right? And really, a good defense lawyer, you got to make the best case you can to get your client the least years possible, all right? And if they didn't do that, we wouldn't have no FDO right now, all right? Billboard charts would be down bad right now, okay? So we gotta, you know what I'm saying? We gotta just praise Pooh Shiesty's lawyer for getting him a sweet deal. But what do you guys think, man? Let me know in the comments. Do you feel like Pooh Shiesty told? I don't think he told. Do you feel like Pooh Shiesty faked going back to jail to take the heat off of this situation? I'm not gonna lie, on my personal opinion, I could believe that. I could believe Pooh Shiesty said, damn, man, I'm tired of whack talking all this shit. I'm trying to do my best Memphis accent. I can't really do it. I'm tired of it. No. But like, he could be like, damn, I'm tired of whack talking all this BS, man. Like, how are we gonna let's just get him off the track. Let's just pretend I'm in jail. Let's just run a play with Bender Don and pretend like, oh, someone going back to jail. And then we use my house arrest. I don't know if Pooh Shiesty's that smart, but maybe this was a smokescreen. I don't know. Okay, but let me know what you guys think in the comments, man. I'll be back with some more videos today. I'm up early grinding. I can rarely even up at this sort of hour. All right, but I appreciate you guys watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'm out here, gang. Peace.